Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where, I'm not kidding, a stranger knocks on OP's door and says, "Hello, can I please give birth in your bedroom?" Am I the butthole for telling a woman where she can and can't give birth? This is one of the stranger things that's ever happened to me. To set the scene, I'm 26, and I bought the house that I'm living in 2019 from this lovely older couple. For context, in case anyone's reading this in the future, that was 5 years ago. I thought, as I'm sure anyone who's been in this situation might think, that the signing was going to be the last time I ever saw them or had anything to do with their family. I was wrong. Yesterday, I got a knock on my door, and I opened it to find a young couple, probably my age, maybe a bit younger. The woman was pregnant and looked like she was going to pop any day. I asked who they were and if I could help them. The woman replied that this home used to belong to her parents and that she was born in this house. I asked again what it was they wanted since they didn't really tell me if they needed anything from me. She told me that her mother had also been born here in the upstairs bedroom. For context, this is now my bedroom. She then asked if I would mind letting her bring the stuff that was needed to give birth in the same spot as she and her mother were both born in. I said no, keeping in mind that A, this isn't her or her parents' house anymore, and B, the bedroom in question is my bedroom. Now, I thought this was as normal as a response was possible given the strange question, but when I was telling my friends about it this afternoon, one of the girls in the friend group said that it was pretty cruel of me to tell a pregnant woman where she can and can't give birth. I didn't think that what I said was all that strange, considering I'd never met the couple before. And I don't exactly want a strange woman giving birth where I sleep. But my friend insists that I could have come to some sort of arrangement. So here I am, asking you guys, am I the butthole? Also, OP posts an edit. So I just want to add that my friend isn't an idiot. When we were having this conversation, we were, let's say, having a fun time with fun substances. When I asked her about it today, she genuinely thought that she had imagined the conversation. Obviously, she thinks it's a horrible idea for liability and health reasons, aside from it being weird. Also, I got an email back from the previous owners. I managed to get their contact info from the realtor who sold the house. It turns out that, yes, they have a daughter, and yes, apparently she is actually pregnant, and they cut her off for being a bit on the crazy side. In my hometown of Orange, Virginia, in my old childhood home, I buried my dead dog in the backyard. And every single time I go back to Orange to visit friends, I always think about, maybe I could go by my old childhood home and knock on the door and say, hey, would you mind if I just, I used to live here, my dog's buried in the backyard, would you mind if I go visit my dog and just say hello or whatever? And just that thought makes me feel so guilty of imposing on these random strangers that I've never been able to bring myself to do it. So I don't know where this woman got the balls to come up to OP and ask this question. She's got more courage than I do, that's for sure. Am I the butthole for considering divorce over my wife's ex-behavior? I've been with my wife for 6 years, married for 1.5. Her son, Jake, is 9. He used to call me dad, and we had a great bond. 5 months ago, his biological dad showed up. Since then, Jake has been repeating things his dad says and constantly insulting me. I went from, he's my dad, to, he's just my mom's husband, ha 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 ha. I talked to my wife about it, but she thinks that he's just a kid and that I should let it go. Last week, Jake called me because his dad, who was supposed to pick him up from school and then take him shopping for his mom's birthday, bailed on him. I stepped in, took Jake shopping, and we had a good half day together. I paid for the gift that he picked out. I dropped him off at his dad's. His dad was asleep and forgot about even picking up Jake from school. On my wife's birthday, Jake lied and said that it was his dad who took him shopping and paid for the gift, despite his dad never having a job or paying child support. His dad graciously accepted all the compliments and even made fun of the gift that I gave my wife. My wife, however, didn't say a word to him. After the party, when Jake went to his dad's, I told my wife that I was upset that she didn't stand up for me. She rolled her eyes and said, "Why? Because he was more thoughtful than you?" I told her the truth about what happened, but she didn't believe me. I even showed her my credit card statement and phone logs proving that Jake called me on Tuesday. Frustrated, I left to stay with my brother because I can't be around someone who doesn't trust me. My brother thinks that I'm right, but my mother-in-law has messaged me a million times saying it's a misunderstanding and that I'm overreacting. My wife hasn't apologized. My wife came over yesterday and said that she feels stuck because she doesn't want to make her son feel bad about his dad. She keeps saying, "He's just a kid, you should be the bigger person." When I asked if she was apologizing, she said no. She insisted that it was just a misunderstanding and added that she's seen how much her ex has been trying. Then she said that I was acting like a needy man baby. I told her that if she thinks so highly of her ex and doesn't see my efforts, she should leave because she clearly doesn't get my point. She doesn't seem to care about any of the effort that I put in. Her response? "That's exactly what I'm saying. You're acting like a needy baby who needs a reward. You need to man up if you love me." So now I'm torn. Should I start talking to a lawyer because there's no point in working on this? Or am I overreacting and should we try counseling? OP, why would you want to stay in a family where neither your wife nor your stepson show you even the baseline level of respect? I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. If you stay in this relationship, you're a sucker. I'm giving everyone else 2.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for not telling a man that the research he was mansplaining to me was my own? I'm a 33-year-old woman, and I work in a very small, technical, specific, male-dominated field. Let's just say it's a subcategory of law. I graduated 9 years ago, and I'm now a lawyer as well as a researcher. I publish some work here and there, but nothing too major, and no one outside of my field knows my work. Yesterday, I went to a bar with a couple of friends who introduced me to one of their friends who works in the same field as me. I was pretty excited to meet him because it's rare to meet people who work in that field. He doesn't exactly do the same thing as I do. He's not a lawyer, but a legal advisor, but we work on the same topics. So naturally, we started talking about our work. At one point, we were discussing a point on which we had different opinions, so I explained mine to him, and he replied by saying that my opinion was based on nothing, while his was based on the work of a professional. You guessed it, me. He basically started explaining my work to me, but in a completely wrong way and missed all my points. I asked him if he was sure that was what the author meant, and he said that he was because it was pretty simple actually. For another good 20 minutes, he explained all of it to me in detail, like I was a first-year law student. I didn't say anything because it was pretty funny to watch him say things that were completely wrong with so much confidence. After that, the topic changed and the night went on. But at the end of the night, right before leaving, I decided to tell him that I was actually the person that wrote the work that he had quoted, and that he hadn't really understood it. He reacted very badly and got angry, and he told me that I'd manipulated him to humiliate him. He yelled at me for not saying it was my work at the beginning. I simply replied that he had embarrassed himself, and I left. I woke up this morning to texts from my friends saying that I was wrong for causing drama and tension and that I could have been nicer to their friend. I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong here. I mean, yeah, I could have told him right away, but is it that big of a deal that I didn't? I'm not exactly sure. Nah, OP, this moron made a fool of himself. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving him 1.5 out of 5. Am I the butthole for selling my Taylor Swift tickets after my girlfriend cheated? A few months back, I, a 27-year-old guy, won some money on stake and decided to surprise my girlfriend, a 25-year-old woman, with Taylor Swift tickets for her Vancouver show. She's been a massive Swiftie since forever, and I knew that it would mean the world to her. I spent around $800 for 2 really good seats. Last week, I discovered that my girlfriend had been secretly meeting up with her work friend for months. I found out because she accidentally left her Instagram DMs open on my laptop. She'd been using it to print something. And I saw weeks of flirty messages and plans to meet up. When I confronted her, she tried to deny it at first, but eventually admitted they'd kissed several times and had been having an emotional affair. I was devastated. These tickets were meant to be a special experience for us, and I couldn't stomach the thought of taking her after this betrayal. Rather than let them go to waste, I decided to sell them. Given how insane the Taylor Swift ticket market is right now, I managed to sell them for $2,400, triple what I paid. When I found out that I sold the tickets, she completely lost it. She's been blowing up my phone, calling me petty and cruel, saying I ruined her dream, and that the tickets were a gift, so they belong to her. Her friends are also messaging me, saying that I'm an awful person for using the tickets to hurt her. I feel like I had every right to sell tickets that I bought with my own money, especially after what she did. But she's making me feel like I took things too far. Am I the butthole? Yo, if she wants to go to Taylor Swift so much, maybe her new boyfriend can fork over the money to buy some tickets. Also, I'm not a big Swiftie. I don't really know any songs of hers. Isn't virtually every song she sings about love and romance and dating? I have to imagine Swift has made a couple of songs. All right, hold on. Taylor Swift songs about cheating. Yeah, all right. She's written what is this, 20 songs about cheating? Should have said no, Picture to Burn, You're Not Sorry, White Horse, Dear John, The Story of Us, Better Than Revenge, Haunted, I Knew You Were Trouble, The Moment I Knew, Bad Blood. All right, so I think Taylor Swift is probably anti-cheating, so I don't even think she'd be welcome at a Taylor Swift concert. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your cheating ex 3 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for accepting inheritance from my deadbeat father? I'm a 19-year-old guy, and I barely remember my real father. The last memory I had of him was him yelling at my mother, and I was maybe 6, hiding under a kitchen table. He was a terrible man with an alcohol problem. One day, he fled the country and was never seen again. My mother met my stepfather, who's a great man, and raised me as his own kid. Just a few months ago, I received a formal notice from my real father telling me that my grandmother, his mother, had died. And he didn't expect me to go to the funeral as I didn't even know the lady, but decided to pass her apartment to me as he was never part of my life, so it's the least he can do. He doesn't expect me to contact him or anything. He wrote that he knows how terrible he was and nothing can excuse that. I was excited about the fact that I could start my life way easier, and I told my family about it, and they got really mad at me and telling me how terrible of a person he was. My mother said that he's probably using that to contact me, or even worse, use that to claim that he took care of me so I have to take care of him when he's old. So I talked with a pro bono lawyer about it, and she told me that accepting an inheritance can't be considered paying child support, which he never did. So if I decide to accept the apartment, it doesn't oblige me to anything. My parents are still mad at me. My stepfather says I should honor my mother's wish and not accept it, while I believe that it would be stupid to say no and deny a chance to start my life a bit easier than others my age. So am I the butthole for accepting that apartment? All right, the top comment from Aware Welcome says exactly what I was thinking. Honey, if anyone needs to accept an inheritance, it's the child of a deadbeat dad. Also, we have this interesting story from The Real Satan Weasel. My dad had a similar situation when the man who was his biological father died. My dad didn't want anything to do with him, even after his death, because of how terrible he had been to him, abandoning him as a child. So, my dad lost out on $1.5 million in assets. My dad's share went to the other heirs. My dad really showed him, huh? So don't let a false sense of getting even cost you an opportunity. Yeah, OP, this is literally your birthright. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I don't know if I want to give your parents a butthole score because I can definitely understand why they hold a grudge against your dad, though I do think they should support you and do what's in your best interests. It's just I think they probably are, even though they're actually not. So I think I'll give them 0.5 out of 5 buttholes. They need to let go of their anger and their grudge and understand it's not about them or their hatred, it's about you and what you're owed. Am I the butthole for refusing to take my girlfriend back after she cheated, just to see if she still had it? I'm a 30-year-old guy, and I've been dating my girlfriend Rachel, who's 27, for 2 years. She's always been confident and charismatic, which is one of the things that I loved about her. Our relationship seemed solid, good communication, lots of shared interests, and we were even talking about moving in together. A few weeks ago, Rachel admitted to me that she cheated on me during a night out with her friends. She hooked up with some guy that she met at a bar. I was completely blindsided. When I asked her why she did it, she said that it wasn't about me or our relationship, but because she wanted to see if she still had it. I told her that was a terrible excuse, and she started crying, saying that it was a stupid mistake and that she regretted it immediately. She begged me to forgive her, saying she learned her lesson and that it would never happen again. But I can't get over the fact that she's willing to risk our relationship for something so shallow. She didn't cheat because she was unhappy or because there was a problem between us. She cheated purely to stroke her ego and to stroke off the other dude. Now, Rachel and some of our mutual friends are calling me unforgiving, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that I'm throwing away a great relationship over one bad choice. They said that I should focus on her remorse and give her another chance. I feel like staying with her would mean betraying my own boundaries, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too harsh. Ooh, I like this top comment from Wizard of Claws. Congrats, you still have it, but you sure as hell don't have me. The mutual friends are just as trashy as her. You'd be crazy to take her back. Yep, straight facts. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the cheater 3 out of 5 buttholes. The trashy friends get 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. I'd love to know if they would stick around with their partner if they got cheated on. Probably not. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.